The base roster and even the first season of DLC are all set in stone for Street Fighter 6. However, there are still a ton of characters in the Street Fighter universe that I believe should return in Street Fighter 6. So today we're going to be going over my top 5 characters that absolutely should return in Street Fighter 6. Now, pretty much all of this is my personal opinion, so I know there's going to be a lot of characters that you guys want that's going to be missing from my list, which is why I think you guys should go into the comment section down below and leave your top 5 characters that you guys want to return in Street Fighter 6. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, for my first pick, I went with Ibuki. I think Ibuki should make a return in Street Fighter 6 for a couple of reasons. First of all, she originated from Street Fighter 3, which is the game that Street Fighter 6 takes place after. So it would make sense for Third Strike characters to make a return in Street Fighter 6. It just makes a lot of sense. On top of that, Street Fighter has had a bit of a history in their recent games from 4 and 5 to have 2 ninja characters at a time. For example, Street Fighter 4 had Guy and Ibuki, and then Street Fighter 5 had Ibuki and Zeku. So I think it would just make sense for this time around the ninja characters to be Ibuki and Kimberly. So in general, I just think it would be a really good idea to have the 2 ninja characters there because, you know, it's just somewhat of a tradition at this point to have 2 ninja characters, this time being Kimberly and Ibuki. So yeah, she also had a really fun, hyperactive playstyle that was like heavily mix-up focused. On top of that, I always tend to gravitate towards the ninja characters, but yeah, overall, I think Ibuki would be an amazing pick for a returning character, especially considering her history with the Street Fighter franchise, as well as the fact that, you know, she comes from Third Strike, and we need some more Third Strike characters in Street Fighter 6. Alright, we're about to get a little bit controversial for our second pick here, but please stay with me, bear with me for a little bit, alright? My second pick is Seth. Yes, that is right, Seth. I know a lot of people hated playing against Seth in Street Fighter 5 because of his amazingly easy combos and just high damage. Basically a character that does everything. Basically the proto Luke, okay? Seth was pretty much as strong as Luke currently is in Street Fighter 5. Like, Seth was annoying to deal with, and personally, I played Seth. I enjoyed Seth's gameplay. Seth was just a lot of fun. So overall, gameplay, I think he shouldn't change all that much. But my reasoning for wanting him in Street Fighter 6 revolves more around the story of Street Fighter instead of like just core gameplay. I already know that Seth is going to be super fun in Street Fighter 6 if he does make a return, as he's been fun in pretty much every Street Fighter game that he's appeared in, those being 4 and 5. But the big thing is that Street Fighter 6 introduces a brand new Psycho Power user named JP. And on top of that, there's Ed, who's going to be returning in the first season of DLC. So I think it would be really cool to have the storyline continue with Juri and Seth versus Neo Shadowloo. I think that would be an amazing addition to Street Fighter, as Seth is not only fun, but also has story significance, and I really want to see them continue the Seth storyline. Alright, next for my third pick, we're once again going into the controversial territory here for this next one, and my third pick is Falke. Now, hear me out for just a little bit, okay? I know you guys already heard enough with Seth, but let me explain myself, okay? I got a bit of a history lesson. Alright, so I picked up Street Fighter 5 for the very first time around Season 3. Literally when Falke was released, that is when I started playing Street Fighter 5 more competitively and really paying more attention to Street Fighter as a whole. So, Falke ended up being my first ever main, and she's just really fun, especially in the current season where she has the Psycho Mines and all that stuff. I really think there's a lot of cool things that they could do with Falke gameplay-wise, where maybe they can change some of her inputs from being like super easy inputs, like, you know, instead of doing, you know, 2 punches for the DP, make that a regular Z motion. Put the Psycho Mine as a base kit thing. You know, it was her V skill too, initially, but change it to be like a down-down punch input, and that will cause the Psycho Mine to come out. Have it like 2 settings, so like let's say down-down kick for a low one, down-down punch for a high Psycho Ball. And that will make the gameplay significantly more interesting, as the Psycho Ball as a whole actually made Falke more interesting as a character to play And on top of that, all the different buffs that she got in Street Fighter V just made her absolutely amazing. Like, she's one of my all-time favorite characters to play. And you guys probably already know this by now if you guys have been on the channel, but I'm kind of a fan of zoning. Zoning is kind of like really fun to me. I like that. I love that playstyle. But I also love rushdown characters as well, so don't roast me in the comments too hard. But yeah, I think Falke would be really, really cool. And on top of that, Ed is making a return in Street Fighter 6. So why shouldn't Falke continue that storyline with Neo Shadowloo? You know what I mean? Like, Falke and Ed are a pair, okay? Put the two in the same game. I promise you it will not be disappointing so long as Capcom changes Falke to have more motion inputs, you know, down, down, punch and kick for the Psycho Mine, Z motion for the DP, etc, etc. I really think Falke could be super interesting in Street Fighter 6, especially with the drive system being the way that it is. Falke could be absolutely sick in Street Fighter 6. We just need to give her a chance. For my fourth pick, I actually decided to go with Menat. Now, I know Menat wasn't like super popular in Street Fighter 5, and to be fair, neither was Falke, but like, Menat is just a really fun character overall, not even just gameplay-wise, but her personality and design are just great. She's one of the best personalities in Street Fighter V, on top of that being a new character, and it would be a shame for Menat to be wasted on Street Fighter V. Like, I think she should come back as she is a next-generation character, new to Street Fighter V, and since Street Fighter 6 is a next-generation kind of game where they're bringing in the new generation of fighters and all that stuff, I really think Menat should make a return. On top of that, she's actually a really high execution kind of character as well, which is something that I think all Street Fighter games should have. Like, there should be at least one super fun high execution character, and it just so happens Menat is that character. Not only is she a bit of a zoner, but she's also a really strong rushdown character, especially when she got her V trigger. Now, you guys may be wondering, how are they going to be able to transfer all that like high execution orb shenanigans into Street Fighter 6? Well, that's easy. Make those 6 orbs that appear during her V trigger a level 2 super. You know, allow her to have that as a super move rather than a V-trigger, since, you know, V-triggers aren't actually a thing in Street Fighter 6. But yeah, she's just a really fun, high-execution character that I think should return. Like, she's kind of like one of those characters that has, like, really high potential in both the story department and gameplay department, so I really think she should come back. There's really nothing more to say. Menat's just fun. Oh, that's it. She's just fun. That's my reason. She's fun. Alright, so for my next pick, I'm gonna do a little bit of cheating here and say that my 5th pick is both Sagat and Poison. Honestly, I couldn't pick one. Both characters are very cool, and honestly, they're both very interesting to me personally. Now, I did say that I love zoners, and well, this is where it shows, because both Poison and Sagat are zoners, especially in Street Fighter V. And, well, I love them both. Sagat has been a character that I kind of like default to in pretty much every classic Street Fighter game. Like, I play him in Street Fighter 4, I play him in Alpha, I play him in Street Fighter 2. Like, Sagat is just a really fun character for me. He's like the classic zoner. Like, he's got the Tiger Uppercut and the Tiger Shot, where he has a low Tiger Shot and a high Tiger Shot, and then he stops you from jumping in with the Tiger Uppercut. I just think he's really fun overall. He's just a really fun character to mess around with. There's really nothing more to say there. Like, he's a standard zoner. I really don't think Street Fighter 6 would change him that much. Like, the big thing for Sagat in Street Fighter 6 would definitely be the drive system, but that's something that really goes for every other character. But I just think Sagat should return much earlier than a 3rd season, you know? I think he should come back in Season 2 at the very least, you know? Because Sagat is a fan favorite character, and he is overall a cool character lore-wise too. He's a guy that went bad after losing to Ryu, and then ended up becoming a good guy in the end as well and trying to redeem himself. He's overall a really cool character, very honorable as well. So yeah, I just really like Sagat. He's a character that I enjoy. I always do love those honorable characters too, so Sagat's just cool overall. I really don't want him to change all that much in Street Fighter 6. The next one is, of course, Poison. She's a character that I played a bunch in Street Fighter 4, and I didn't really play her all that much in Street Fighter 5. But she's always been one of those characters that I kind of like enjoy. Like, she's just a very fun looking character overall. So yeah, honestly, these two characters compared to the rest of the characters on my list, are kind of like the characters that I don't really want a ton to change with, and the majority of the changes for these characters really just come down to the drive system. Like, the way that they play would be very interesting, especially with how the drive system works. Like, imagine Poison whipping you from across the screen and then dashing in using the drive rush, you know what I mean? And both characters wouldn't be super duper problematic in Street Fighter 6, as drive parry is always an option. But yeah, they're both really cool zoner characters that I just enjoyed in Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 4. So yeah, they're very personal picks for me. And like I said, this list is very personal, so yeah, let me know in the comment section down below which characters you guys would like to see make a return in Street Fighter 6. This has been my personal list of characters, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Peace out. It's been Casual.